Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Upper Marlboro Virtual Candidate Forum. It is Thursday, February 17th, 2022, and we are very excited to have you all here and to have three candidates running for Town Commissioner. I first would like to go ahead and introduce our moderator for this evening, Jody Waldy. She is with the Prince George's branch of the NAACP, and we're very excited to have her here tonight. Jody Waldy is currently the chairperson of both the Community Coordination and the Membership Committee of the Prince George's County branch of the NAACP. Ms. Waldy is a subject matter expert in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DE&I, where she worked for several federal government agencies, conducting workshops and participating in conferences. She has a master's degree in business management and public administration, in addition to holding a diversity and inclusion certificate from Georgetown University. Please join me in welcoming our moderator for this evening, Jody Waldy. Jody.
Thank you, John. Thank you for that, that introduction. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Or
good afternoon.
Good evening, gentlemen. We are here today to talk about what you can do for the town of Upper Marlboro. And we're going to do this in alphabetical order. So I'm going to give each one of you 3 minutes to talk about yourself and what you can do for the town of Upper Marlboro. But part of that will also be in the questions that individuals have submitted to ask you all. So we will start with Mr. John Barber. Mr. Barber, would you take 3 minutes to talk about yourself, please, and give us a short bio on who you are and what you can bring?
Well, my name is Robert Barber. I have a small business in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, a limousine van service here in Upper Marlboro. I've lived here for 3.5 years. I've assisted the community by volunteering my transportation services with food delivery, clothing pickups, distribution to local shelters. I was born in Washington, D.C., raised in Suitland, Maryland. I'm a graduate of Suitland High School. I'm a God-fearing man. I strive to please God in every way I can. My interest in becoming town commissioner for the town of Upper Marlboro is to work with other officials for long-term growth and improvement of our town. My goals is to ensure we work together. We work together to maintain communication between our neighbors and law enforcement and address strategies to keep our community safe. To retain our good quality of life, I will make the most of our town's resources and meet the needs and standards of all who live here by effectively managing our budget and make proper utilization of taxpayer money. So to have infrastructure improvements, the best schools, and create opportunities that will allow Upper Marlboro to flourish. As a neighbor, small business owner, and vested contributor to our community, I desire to see Upper Marlboro do well and will greatly appreciate your consideration and ask for your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Barber. Thank you very much. Our next candidate will be Mr. Derrick Brooks. Mr. Brooks, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, 3 minutes, and a little short narrative about what you can do for the town of Upper Marlboro?
Sure. Good evening, moderator Jody Watley and fellow contestants. My name is Derrick Brooks. I came to Upper Marlboro at the age of 19 years old. Upon my arrival, I realized 3 important facts. Our community is a close-knit one, the importance of establishing and maintaining good relationships with your neighbors, and that of our care and concern for each other also extends to our fur babies. I'm a big animal lover, and like my neighbors in Marlboro town, there's a lot of animal lovers. More than 25 years later, those are a few of the main reasons I have remained a resident of the town of Upper Marlboro. Ours is a rich, thriving, historic community with a potential to become even better. This is why I'm running to be one of the town commissioners. My love and commitment to our town has made this a place where I not only live, but I also work here. For the past 32 years, I have worked for the Circuit Court for Prince George's County, serving residents. Additionally, I work for Prince George's Community College, helping to ensure students' academic success. Serving county residents both at the court and the community college has been my great pleasure and honor. As a first-time town commissioner, I recognize there will be much learned. However, experience has taught me that no obstacle is too great to overcome. When people are committed to accomplishing a goal, a common goal, as town commissioner, my goal will be to advocate for and to see our community to thrive and get better. With your support, if elected, I commit to working alongside my colleagues to ensure this goal is realized. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Colbert, can you give us 3 minutes of what you can do for a little bit about yourself and what you feel as though you can do for the town of Upper Marlboro?
Absolutely. Good evening. First of all, I want to say, Moderator Wildy, thank you for taking the time to moderate this event this evening, and to the other candidates, I appreciate your time as well. And also to the citizens who've joined the call, I appreciate you all being, vested in your town's future moving forward. A little bit about me. I am a proud Prince George's County native. I grew up in Clinton, Maryland, not too far from the town of Upper Marlboro. I'm a husband and a father of a beautiful baby girl who's turning 1 next month. And my wife and I settled here in Upper Marlboro back in 2017. For the last decade, I've worked in business operations for government contractors and have deep experience in fiscal stewardship, contract negotiation, and auditing practices. All of these are the skills and the lenses through which I plan to evaluate any actions for the town and hope to bring to the Board of Commissioners. What I've noticed is from the quiet streets, friendly faces, and access to all the DMV has to offer, the town of Upper Marlboro continues to be one of the best kept secrets in our area. And as our town matures, we have to be vigilant in ensuring we are spending smartly and continuing to provide a safe and enjoyable environment for all of our town residents. One of my main goals is I'm interested in developing a town plan that meets the twin goals of maximizing our economic potential and maintaining the small town feel that we have all come to enjoy. Additionally, improving our infrastructure is paramount as we look to keep pace with the growth around us. And all of this has to be done with input and collaboration from the citizens. And I look forward to working with the full board to listen and advocate on behalf of the town. Advancement, safety, and transparency are the lenses through which I would be evaluating any proposals, any actions for the town as a commissioner. And I would be honored to have the town of Upper Marlboro, the citizens on this call and throughout the town to choose me as a commissioner for the town.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. I do have a question. All of you all mentioned why the town of Upper Marlboro, why you moved here. How do you feel now that they've moved the administration building out of the town? And what plans would you have for growth for the town now that you don't have as many people doing the working hours in the town as there were at one time? Anyone can answer the question.
Oh, okay. For me, yeah, that was a major blow to move the county administration building. I would get like the delegates, the Maryland delegates involved, our county council for District 9 involved, senators, And I would get with them and see what funds they could give us to enrich our town more. I think our town is thriving right now. We're moving in a good direction, and I want to stay on that course. So I would get more heavy hitters involved, like the names I just mentioned, the delegates, our county councilmen, and our senators, and see what resources they could do and give us to continue to bring more stuff back and to keep thriving.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Sure. I think one of the key things about that type of situation is understanding what the relationship is between the town and the county. We would need to understand, what are the goals that the county has for itself and for the county, or for the town of Upper Marlboro, and match that up with the goals of the citizens of the town. It has to be a working partnership to first understand where everyone is going in their various directions. The primary reason for that is because we don't want, as the county continues to grow, and it's growing at an exponential pace, that the town of Upper Marlboro gets left behind. We don't, and part of the reason, part of the a boon of having the county seat in the town of Upper Marlboro is that the concerns of the citizens are taken into account because it affects all of those areas around us. So we have to make sure that that relationship remains strong, gets stronger, and that we continue to have symbiotic partnership with the county in order to build out the development around the town. In the meantime, we have to have, as we're looking toward annexation, as we're looking to bring surrounding areas into our town, we have to do so in a way that's smart and really emphasizes, like I mentioned in my statement, the economic potential of the town. What can we do to bring businesses into the city or into the town so that citizens have resources and that people are seeing the town of Upper Marlboro as a destination as some of the other cities and towns, municipalities in the county.
Thank you. I'd just like to make a brief statement. I've been to many small towns and they have had significant growth. One being the Hyattsville, Mount Rainier Arts District, which is not that much different than the town of Upper Marlboro here.
Correct.
And I'm sure that I don't actually live in the town, but I live up the street less than 2 miles from here. And I would love to see something similar to the Arts District come here to the town of Upper Marlboro and be a draw for many of us who may not live necessarily in the town, but very close to it.
Yeah, I agree with that, yes.
So what are your views on the town's current budget and spending? Anyone can answer the question.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, in regards to the budget, I think there are some areas for improvement. I think there are some areas that are handled appropriately. In looking at the budget action from the most recent town meeting, there are some areas where we haven't recognized the revenue that we intended to recognize so far this year. But we also haven't recognized the expenses that we haven't anticipated incurring this year. Part of that is due to the pandemic, part of that is due to a number of reasons. One of the line items that I'm particularly interested in is the business license piece, to understand what's driving some of the gap between what we anticipated seeing in our business license revenue and what we're actually seeing to date. And I think that speaks a lot to Moderator Waldy, what you mentioned. I'm going to try to tie that back a little bit to what I was mentioning before. If we look at commercial cores around us, around the town of Upper Marlboro, there isn't really a significant commercial core between Bowie and say the Brandywine area along that Route 301 corridor. And so if we can, as we're again focusing on, if we're bringing more areas into town, if we're bringing more citizens into town, if we're trying to attract businesses and understanding how can we do so in a way to incentivize, bring those businesses into town and to develop something along the lines of the Arts District that you mentioned. I think those are things that we need to be looking at as we're looking at our budget and how we're allocating our resources.
Yeah, looking at the budget, I think there could be more money there. I think when we annex some of these counties, that would bring in more money. Right now, the town of Upper Marlboro that we dealing in with the town hall is very small. And looking at, they're moving into phase 1 and 2 to annex into some of these counties. And I think that would bring in more money for us, because right now we're just dealing with a bunch of grants. And I think if the county was big, if the town was big as a whole, it would bring in more revenue for us, and we can have a bigger budget to deal from. But yeah, I would love to see us flourish and do more things. I mean, it's not a big town where we can have a whole lot of things, but if we can expand and get others on board with, like I said, with the delegate, city council, and the senators, get them more involved, that would be, even better. But right now, if we annex and bring in a little bit more, I think our budget will be better.
I have to laugh because, like I said, I live a little less than 2 miles from here, and it's just a teeny bit of that land that I won't be annexed yet, and I'm looking forward to actually becoming a part of the town.
Good, yeah, it'll be good.
How will you ensure the budget transparency for the citizens of the town?
If being a first-time political person in terms of running for office, I would have to get in there with the current town commissioners and see what they have to say, and I have to learn from them because it would be a group effort. I would lend my voice, but it would be a group effort from everybody, and I would have to learn a lot from them. And like I said, we would have to all work together to come up with a plan to do that.
Anyone else?
Well, I believe that we need to work with the community, as far as like everybody in the community, they have a voice on it, as far as, everybody need to petition, things, as far as work with the commissioners that's in office, but you also want to work with the community as a whole, and see their opinions.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick comment, if you don't mind. I'm a huge proponent of participative government. I think, one of the things that has been, it's an unfortunate situation with us being in the pandemic, but the availability of having, the live streamed town hall meetings. I know a lot of folks would like to be able to go back into the town hall and have that conversation in person. But I think we need to be very cognizant of, like Mr. Barber said, getting community input, making sure that people understand where the budget resides on the town website, making sure that people understand where the money is coming from, where it's going, having kind of that civic education and understanding, what the tax revenue is actually doing, what the pieces of the budget are and how they're being deployed. I think there's a little bit of education for the commissioners, for, anyone coming into the commissioner seat, for the community as well, to understand how a municipal budget works, but also making sure that people have the opportunities to have their opinion heard, have their questions answered, and really have a true understanding of where their money is going to for the services in their town.
Good, thank you. Someone's going to say something?
Yeah, real quick. We've had a request from the audience. If candidates could state their name first before they answer questions, so that people can get to know who they are.
Okay,
that would be great.
Great. Okay, next question coming from the community also is, how will you identify and address concerns of the citizens?
My name is Derrick Brooks. The way I would do that is when we have our town hall meetings and with how often the commissioners get together, we'll have a big meeting on that. And like Mr. Charles said, if the town can get more involved, I would love to see the town get more involved. I mean, we've had town hall meetings before, and the outcome from the community was very low. So what we can do to make that grow is keep putting things out on social media, tacking things up in our neighborhood to get people more involved, that would be great. You know, the more involvement, the better things can move, and you can have a better understanding of what people like, dislike, and what they want. So that would be my take on that.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, my take on it is, I'm in the community all the time. So my thing is going from block to block and talking to neighbors personally and asking them their views on things, let alone working with the board and everything, but just going and talking to people personally and getting involved more, just them seeing me more, in person.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
This is Charles Colbert. I was going to say I definitely agree with that. During this campaign, I've had the good fortune to meet a lot of neighbors, and some that I've met previously, just walking around and hearing some of their concerns with issues going on in the town, and or just their admiration for the town, their love of being in the town, and how to continue to maintain that feeling. Like I mentioned previously, I think participative government is a huge way to move towns forward, to move communities forward, and get citizen buy-in. We have the town meetings where there is limited time for public comment during the general town meetings and the board work sessions. I think there's even potential for having at some point throughout the month, maybe just an open forum for citizens to speak with commissioners, have it on record, have it via Zoom or some other mechanism, so that the issues are taken down and on record, and just have more of an open dialogue, open discussion between the town and the board, while supplementing, again, as Mr. Roberts said, getting out into the community, knocking on those doors, having those conversations, and meeting citizens where they are.
Well, you all touched on one of my next questions, is that one of the things that many people have a problem with is that the candidates come out during election time, but you barely see them throughout the year until another cycle of election shows up. So what would you say that your plans would be, anyone can answer this, to make certain that they see who their commissioner is, and that you constantly or consistently are interacting with the community?
Well, I'm out here all the time. I'm a hands-on guy. I'm a man of my word. And, I'm here. You will see me all the time if elected as commissioner. I just believe in doing the footwork on anything I do anyway, just being out in the public and just servicing my community.
Okay.
Just as just servicing my community. Like I said, I've done, I fed the homeless here. I've, had clothing pantries and everything, and food pantries, everything, just to try to help someone else. I believe in helping other people. I was raised to help others. And even senior citizens, I want to look out for them, just look out for people the best way I can.
My name is Derrick Brooks, and the answer to that question, I would say, I agree that, you vote people in all across the board, whether it's a big office, a small office, that's true. Sometimes you don't see them as much, but with us, it's going to be 5 town commissioners, not just one person. So it's a group effort. So if you're looking for 1 or 2 people, it's not, none of us will be the lone town commissioner. It's a group effort of 5 town commissioners, and we all have to work together. And I agree, we need to get out in the community more. We need to do things more. We could have like a cleanup day in our community, like of course in the spring and summertime. Do a cleanup day, have a block gathering where neighbors can get to know one another. A lot of people have moved away and they rent their places out, so you could get to know the renters. So we have to find some kind of activities for our communities to do so people can get to know one another and feel safe with one another. And so when we have those sorts of events, you can ask us questions, but it's going to be a group effort. It's not just one town commissioner, it's going to be 5 of us. So we all can get together and go in each other's community, because we're a small town hall, we can do those things and be visible to each other a little bit more, because I know all of us have full-time jobs, but taking on this responsibility is an achievement. And, you know, from listening to my other candidates, you know, we want the betterment for our community and our town. So I think we should do things like that, a cleanup day and like a block gathering, so we can get to know one another and they can ask us questions.
Okay,
I
anyone-
I agree with he's saying and everything, but I believe what the others not doing, somebody need to stand in there and, you know, whoever's not around, it needs to be a commissioner, somebody they can talk to, you know, when others are not around. You have to have somebody there to, you know, when others are not around, you need somebody to talk to. So, I mean, you know, somebody got to talk to some, you know, understand you may have a full-time job or whatever like that, but, you know, just when the others are not around, you could bring, by one talking to the community, then others, you know, they could present what they're saying to the other ones. And that's how we all work together.
Mhm.
As far as, you know,
Yeah, no, this is Charles Colbert again. I agree with both Mr. Brooks and Mr. Barber. I think the big thing is getting out into the community, you know, having these conversations. I think having the commissioners at different events. I actually think this slate of commissioners, the 4 commissioners who are currently in office, have done a good job since being elected, being out at different events and having that interaction. And I think, yes, I understand about sometimes you only see commissioner candidates or commissioners during the campaign season. I think we need to broaden the scope of what a campaign means. And I think if we're looking at, you know, what is the campaign around annexation? What is the campaign about budget items? What is the campaign about proposals for the town and bringing in different types of businesses? Those are also times when commissioners, you know, could be out, should be out, you know, either knocking on doors or having forums, having more forums to get input, to get understanding, to get citizen buy-in to the actions that are being taken. And one of the things that I would propose is instituting a sort of office hours for commissioners, you know, 1 or 2 weekends, off weekends a month. We have our, you know, there's the regular general town meeting, there's the board work session that are open to the public and have public comment sessions. But I think instituting, like I said, 1 or 2 office hour sessions where a commissioner or 2 is available in some form, whether it be via Zoom, whether it be, you know, in one of the businesses in town, where citizens can come and have those conversations, and again, be in a way that it's on record, part of the public discourse, part of the public record, would be something that continues to, you know, strengthen and embolden confidence in the commissioners, in the board, and that the actions being taken are in the best interest of the citizens.
Okay, great. So that brings me to another question. What are your views on the structure of town government, and does it allow the opportunity to foster the relationships that we have just previously discussed with the commissioners, and making certain that even though, let's say, with commissioners, nobody is ever going to agree on everything all the time. We understand that. But what relationships can you foster that would at least allow people to understand that, no, we don't get along all the time and everybody has the right to speak, but we really all sing in one voice or speak in one voice?
Derrick Brooks answering this question. Yeah, I think the way we could foster that is maybe meeting more, maybe meeting in person more, like Mr. Charles said, meeting a little bit more. I know we have busy, people have busy, everybody's schedule is probably different and their hours are different. But I think, you know, with COVID, we have the at-home test, and if people feel safe, like taking a test before you meet in person. I think that would be good. I think for the past 2 years, since COVID, a lot of things have been on Zoom, understandably, but I think maybe meeting a little bit more in person as a group of town commissioners and getting in there and getting your hands dirty. You know, you're gonna have arguments. Everybody's not gonna agree. That's life, but getting in there, working with one another, seeing what the top issues are and try to grind that out and come to a resolution for the town. Because like I said, we're a small town and we're getting there, but I think we're meeting a little bit more and meeting a little bit more in person, I think will be, would better work with that.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes, this is Charles Colbert. So I think one of the good things that has happened recently is the expansion of the board from 3 to 5 members. I think that allows for a more varied set of opinions, a more varied set of viewpoints to be considered when different town actions are happening. I mean, 5 commissioners, we're a town of about 700 some odd people at this point. You know, there's room and opportunity for those relationships to be fostered amongst the community. I know for myself, I've walked pretty much this whole town at this point and knocked on a lot of doors, like I said, had the opportunity to have a lot of good conversations and hope that this is the beginning of more of those conversations, you know, whether I'm elected or not. I really think with of the population that we have, with the number of members on the board that we have, there's really opportunity to, again, get out there, make faces known, have opportunities to foster those relationships through the different events that are put on by the events committee, through, I'll mention again, I know I'm probably harping on it at this point, but the whole office hours piece, just having an open forum where people can feel comfortable coming and having those conversations, and just, like I said, continuing to build that confidence in the board, in the commission, and the decisions that are being made for the town.
Okay. One thing I will admit, you know, living not too far from here, I did truly enjoy the movie nights. I didn't like the mosquitoes, but I enjoyed the movie nights.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great way to get the community together, and there was always a lot of people and children, and I thought that was a great way to get to know your neighbor. So thank you all.
Yeah, more things like that would be good. Yes.
So what are your views on promoting history, but also not just promoting history, but allowing the growth of the town, maintaining the history of the town, and looking at the overall picture? This might be several questions of, you know, as you go up, I always get this messed up, 726, 724.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of houses, or I don't want to say dilapidated houses, but houses that are being sold there. You have your dollar store there, but other than that, leading up to 301, there's not much. So how do you foster the growth here, but also maintain the history of the town?
Derrick Brooks, good question. If we annex into some more of those towns, we can, you know, probably get involved with more of that. But there is a lot of history here, some good, some bad. I think the way we can foster that, of course, is going to be, but you need more money to do that. And it depends on what the budget is. We could probably do that, but that would be something that would be what should be on the table, and we all work together on that as the 5 commissioners. But that's going to take money and a budget to work with that.
This is Charles Colbert. I think I think it's a very doable set of goals to accomplish. I think the town of Upper Marlboro, its original corporate limits and how we've expanded somewhat, I mean, and even just the county of Prince George's, the state of Maryland, there's a very rich history, and the story needs to be told. I know we have a historical committee within the town that has been charged with telling that story, and I think they're doing great work. I remember in one of the previous town meetings, Mayor Franklin mentioned that an individual had come forward and wanted to put together a comprehensive history of the town. And I think that is a very important document, story to have and to hold, and can be used as a way, again, to bring the community together. Having some of those education series where we're telling some of the history of the town. All of it's not going to be pretty. There's going to be some uncomfortable conversations to be had around that. But I think the stories have to be told. Maintaining that history has to happen, and it has to be something that we do in a very smart way. The other side of that is, as we're annexing some of the areas that you mentioned, as you go farther out on 725, getting toward 301, understanding what are the needs of those businesses there, making sure that they're, as they're coming into town, we're able to provide the resources to them so that they can thrive. And then the areas that are abandoned, that are dilapidated, that are in need of some repair, what are the things that we can do with those areas? Can we turn those buildings into some type of commercial entity? Can we use that land for a more recreational space for the town? And having more of a holistic understanding of what the usage of those lands outside of the central downtown core might be. And I think the focus has been in the last couple of years on the downtown revitalization, and I think that's awesome and needed, especially with some of the arts projects that are coming to town. And those are areas we could focus that history on while also expanding our borders and bringing more of that revenue to get, as Mr. Brooks mentioned, the money to continue to tell that story and grow the town border.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. What are you all's views on the proposed tax increases?
Derrick Brooks. It's a hard question. I understand the tax increases because, like I said, we're a small town and we have to grow and the money's needed. I would have to sit down with the commissioners and see more on why that is and what other ways we can do that without raising it. But I think, like I said, if we can move into some of these other areas that may decrease they may lower our costs going up. But I think we're so small right now and we're working under grants. I don't see how, what other way we can do this. But if we were a little bit bigger and it had more involvement from other areas, that would help. And, like I said, we got to get other delegates, our senators involved, county councils, and see where we can work with that. But it's just we're small right now. We're thriving, but there's not a whole lot there. We're just working off grants pretty much at this point.
Anyone else? Okay.
So, I'm sorry, Robert, were you?
Yeah, like he said, he's right. It's wrong. It's so taxes. I know we were one of the lowest taxes. We was one of the lowest counties in PG County for taxes at one time. But with more growth, it's just going to be more taxes. That's all I say about that. More growth, it's going to be more tax.
Okay, Mr. Colbert, looks like you.
Yeah, so
thank you.
So I will say, on its face, I hear higher taxes. I cringe a bit. I will admit that. Like was mentioned, the town of Upper Marlboro has been fortunate enough to maintain one of the lowest locality tax rates for a very long time. But the state of Maryland, the Prince George's County, Prince George's County has one of the highest county tax rates in the state. And the state of Maryland has a pretty decent income tax rate as well. So on its face, like I said, I cringe, but I also understand the theory and the need behind potentially raising taxes. I would need to evaluate what the increase would be, what it would cover, what the purpose of the increase is, and also try to understand what are some other revenue streams that we could possibly employ to mitigate the impact of a tax increase if one were imposed. Again,
Right.
annexing businesses, annexing towns, that grows our revenue base, you know, at the current rate. And we really need to understand, you know, what would we be intending to do with the increased revenue? How would we be intending to deploy those resources? In addition, we really need to understand what our cut of the county tax revenue is and make sure that that is being received, allocated properly and in a timely fashion. And again, having that relationship where there's a true understanding of that the town of Upper Marlboro is getting what it needs and is entitled to from the town and the state. I think all those things need to be looked at first prior to going down the route of a potential tax rate. And I'm not saying that that hasn't been done, but for me coming into this position, those are the things that I would want to understand in order to get behind such a thing.
Can I say one more thing, Ms.
Sure.
Jody? Not that I'm complaining, that the hike wasn't bad, you know, like my fellow candidate says, you know, our HOAs, it's low. And you know, the hike wasn't that bad, but I just didn't see any other way for the fellow commissioners to go about it. You know, there's a need there. And when there's a need, you have to have funds. So not that I'm complaining, the hike wasn't too bad, but it's just, we just got to figure out as a group of commissioners what we can do, not to next time, maybe not to make, you know, not to drive it up too high, but to see if we can bring in other things to combat that. Like, you know, we need more government to help out, you know, in our small town, because we're getting there. You know, we're having various things, we're getting there, but we just need those bigger names to come in and help us more with funds and things, and maybe show us a different direction that, you know, to go in that we haven't used before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What makes each one of you a preferred candidate?
Derrick Brooks, answering that question. I'm just a regular person. I'm a people person. I get along with people in the neighborhood. I get along with people on my job. I get along with both of my jobs. I'm just a people person. And like going back on a question you had, what can we do for the town commissioners for the neighborhoods to see people more? Just, you know, I know everyone thinks that, you know, the political arena now, it's like, oh, no one wants to hear about the politics anymore. You know, it's just been shoved down people's throats, but it's really needed. You know, as we grow, people grow. You know, newer people come in and give new ideas. So for me, I'm just a people person. I listen, I talk, I have a good time with people. So I think people, when they meet me and talk to me, they can just feel like a part of themselves. I'm just a down-to-earth person. What you see is what you get. You may not like some things, like if people ask me a question, oh, we should do this and we should do that. And if I give an answer, they may not like it, but I'm always respectful. I'm just a down-to-earth people person. What you see is what you get.
All right.
I'm definitely a people person. I'm in the community all the time. I'm just speaking to people, you know, just talking to people about, you know, like before this commissioner running for commissioner or whatever, I was just basically asking everybody about, you know, petitioning about a dog park back up in here. You know, we need to get more things done, like looking out for our seniors, and, you know, just little, you know, stuff like that. You know, that's what's dear to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just believe in just servicing my community. You know, just acknowledging the homeless guy that's on the corner over there. You know, just, I mean, you know, little stuff like that matters. You know, and, you know, I'm a fast learner. I'm I'm a fast learner or whatever like that, as far as working with other people. You know, I've been in management. I have my own business. I had a couple businesses actually throughout my life, but you know, I just a people person and like to help others.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful.
For
Yes, Ms.
for
Colbert.
me, this is Charles Colbert again. I am deeply passionate about participative government. I'm deeply passionate about citizens having a say in how their government is running their town, running their community. And it's one of the things that I think, you know, would be a sincere plank of me serving in this seat, is getting more of the community involved in the decisions that are being made, or at the very least, providing the education to know what's going on and why things are happening. You know, having the professional experience I've had with analyzing budgets, doing the contract negotiations, doing the audit piece for, you know, large corporations, it's allowed me to kind of develop a lens through which I would be able to evaluate these different actions that are being put on the table and make sure, again, that there's sound, that there's community buy-in, that it's serving or providing the best for the most, and continuing to grow the town in a way that really pushes us forward. You know, like I said, I have a daughter who's turning 1 next month, and I want her to be able to grow up in a town that, you know, she can have fun in, that she feels safe in, that she's comfortable in, and that she's proud of. Just as, like I said, I'm a proud Prince George's County native myself. So.
Great. Well, that brings me to the next question. With growth comes sometimes crime. How do you balance growth with crime? And do you all consider this town as being safe? And how do you keep it safe?
Derrick Brooks, yeah, that's true. You know, there's parts of further below us on Brown Station Road, I believe there was a shooting there maybe about a couple months ago. That's a very complex. I think we have policing. We do see visible policing during the daytime. And I just read that we hired a new officer, Officer Johnson, recently. Yes, unfortunately, you know, crime does happen. I think I would probably speak to the commissioners that's in there now and see what revenue we have, maybe to hire maybe more policing. Getting the kids involved in different activities in the town, if we have spaces for that, to keep them out of trouble. Sometimes the crimes happen with people that don't live in this area. So it's a community effort, you know, to do things with the youth, to keep them occupied, and maybe, like, speaking with the town commissioners, see if there could be a little bit more policing. I know with that, that's going to be, you know, that's more money. But yeah, that's going to take a group effort. We just have to come up with a game plan on various activities for the youth, and seeing if there's funds there for more policing.
Anyone else?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, definitely. I said in my statement, I said keeping our community safe, working with the police and working with the community. And I believe that we all should work together and join together in, you know, keeping our community safe. I believe it needs to be more police. I have seen a lot of like strange people walking around here, and strange things been going on lately. And that's one of the, you know, that's the thing that I really want to take charge of there, you know, and make sure that everyone is safe. The safety and well-being of our neighbors.
Mhm.
So this is Charles Colbert. So I'm a data person, and I know there's your quantitative data and your qualitative data, and quantitatively, I've looked at the crime reports for the town of Upper Marlboro for Prince George's County. Quantitatively, the town of Upper Marlboro has maintained one of the lowest incidence rates. Things happen, lots of things happen, and that this is in no way to dismiss that. But qualitatively, as I'm walking around, as I'm having conversations, there are individuals who don't feel safe, who feel that with the conversations, as you mentioned, about growth, that opens the door for potential more incidents to happen, or that things aren't being handled in a way that they should be handled, even within the borders that we have now. So I think once again, we have to look at our budget, understand how our public safety budget is being allocated. We have the new officer on board now, making sure if there's potential for nighttime patrols, to make sure that individuals are feeling comfortable or seeing their police officers in their community, that is happening in order to alleviate some of those concerns about potentials for increasing crime. I think we also have to, again, look at our budget and understand where can we deploy resources to, as was mentioned previously, provide opportunities and activities for people to be diversionary. In the middle of a pandemic, we're 2 years into it at this point. Folks get stir crazy, things happen, just different things are going on. So we have to be able to provide opportunities for individuals to steer clear of potentially dangerous situations. But again, working with the police, working with the community, developing those partnerships amongst the police and the community, so that individuals know that they can count on their police force to be there if something happens, and that individuals who may come into the town or who are new to the town understand that this is a protected community and that those type of incidences won't be tolerated, and we're looking at ways to steer clear of those things happening in the town.
Mhm. Are you all? Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
One more thing. I agree with both of the candidates.
Mhm.
And it goes back to getting to know your neighbors, feeling safe with your neighbors. If I walked in a neighborhood and I see something strange going on at Mr. Barber's house, if I knew Mr. Barber, I'll text him, Mr. Barber, there's something suspicious going on in your house. You got to have that kind of relationship with the community. If people don't want to come out, like I talked about, a cleanup day, a block gathering, if people don't come out in the community, there's no way you're going to get to know one another. So we got to stress that, getting to know your neighbors. So if I see something strange going on, I can call you if I had your number, or I can call someone that maybe knows you too and say, look, can you get a hold of this person? Because I see something strange going on. And if you have that good rapport with an officer or whomever the officers are, then, I think we can get somewhere. But going to the table with the town commissioners that we have now and trying to come up with a plan to combat that would be the great thing. But giving the youth, kind of like diverting the youth from, like Mr. Colbert was saying, all that pent up aggression, COVID and all this stuff going on, and, Zoom schools, kids were at home, with school, and, sometimes the kids bring in friends from other counties and things happen, but it's all getting back to getting to know your neighbors. You've got to get to know your neighbors so you can talk to them and say, I see this and I see that.
Mhm.
It takes the community. One person can't do it alone. 3 people can't do it alone. It takes a village, like Hillary Clinton says, it takes a village.
That brings me to a thought. Are you all familiar with the broken window effect? In New York, they implemented this broken window effect. When what it was is that if you see something, if you have in a neighborhood and there's a house that has a broken window, then that just brings in someone to utilize that house and for anything that could be negative to the community.
Correct.
But if you make certain that that broken window is fixed, then the likeliness of a crime being committed or in the individuals that you would not want in your neighborhood there, it basically makes your town or your house look presentable, so no one would think that it's abandoned and that you could do all types of nefarious things there. I'm not sure. I think we're running up against the time. Did they tell you? Is it an hour and a half?
An hour, I believe.
Okay, so we're running up against some time. So let me make this very quick. I think you all. My next question. I have a question from the audience, and it is: the town's historical committee has been pushing for adaptive reuse of the old school on Elm Street. What sort of use would you like to see it for?
Derrick Brooks, something for the youth primarily. Or we could use it for wedding receptions for the town, for the town residents. A small fee if you're, nothing major, a small fee if you're a town member. Wedding receptions, small gatherings of some sort, but something primarily for the youth to do after school. But yeah, those are the things I would pretty much use that for.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it should be used for the youth or the elderly. A place where they can go and maybe have a get out, to get out the house and everything, like just an adult program, or just a professional professional building, or maybe just open it back up as a school. I mean, that would definitely be something to speak with the other commissioners about, join together and brainstorm on that. Yeah, I mean, I believe that would definitely be nice. School closer to here.
Okay.
I think I take a little bit of a different approach. I think that there is the potential for somewhat of a hybrid solution with the amount of space that's available in that building. I think that there is some room for potential local business showcasing. Having a bazaar type function where individuals are able to come and again kind of highlight their local businesses, highlight potential areas for economic gain around the town in order to, again, be more creative in finding ways to increase revenue for the town. But also the majority of the school, primarily the school, something for the community residents to have as a recreational resource, either for the youth, the elderly, or anyone at any point, to be able to have a building in town that is an oasis that they can go to, outside of their home, since like I said, we've all been inside the house for the last 2 years, and just have something that is able to provide those resources for the citizens. Again, looking at its history, it is a school. I think there should be an educational component so that folks understand the history of the town, the history of that school itself, and really gain a better understanding and appreciation for its part in the town's part in the county, and how the county has grown and matured since the time that it's been here. I think there are a multitude of uses that could be explored in order to make best use of that building.
Another thing, how about I believe that we should ask the community what they think about it. What you think they may think it should be. Just ask their opinion,
Okay.
I believe that. I mean, let's get a group opinion.
Bring in the community to decide what goes on in the community. I said, bring in the community to decide.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why I'm here, because I believe in, that's why I had making things happen together as a title, because I believe in, we can make things happen together as a community. the community as a whole can make it happen together. I mean, it's not what the commissioners say, it's about what, the community, we all work together and come up with a plan, to involve everybody in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about to wind up, and I have another question from the audience, and then there's one other question that needs to be answered by all of you all. One of the questions from the audience is, I've heard the old school would be used as somewhat of a detention center for youth. Is that true?
Derrick Brooks, I haven't heard that. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. That would be something maybe the current town commissioners can. I personally haven't heard anything about that.
Okay.
Can you say that again? What was the question?
Someone asked, was that school going to be used as, they heard that the school was going to be used as a detention center for youth. Is that true?
So I'm familiar with that understanding. I've read the reports, read the articles over the last couple of years that there is a push, or there had been at least previously a push to convert the school into kind of an alternative school for, whether it be troubled youth or individuals to avoid, harsher penalties or punishments out of the court system. On its face, again, I think it's not necessarily something that I would support on its face. It would be something that I would need to understand the details of a little bit more. But I really think that building in this town should be used to serve the citizens of the town. I think the space that is available there should be taken in the needs, the wants of the citizens, solicited through the conversations that have been mentioned before, should be taken into deep consideration when deciding what to do with that town. And if there is, without getting into too much conjecture about who's backing what or whatever, but if there are forces outside of the town that are having influence on what should happen with that building, like I said, on its face, I'm not in agreement with such a plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in agreement with that. I mean, you have people walking around here now from Upper Marlboro jail, coming through here, and you got too much of that now. That's why we need more police out here, because that's where a lot of crime and stuff is coming from, and a little stuff is going on. But I just believe that we can do something worthwhile with that building, discuss something worthwhile.
Okay, great. Last final question, because we are a little over time. And anyone can answer this question. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is an important entity to any viable community. Do you believe most people here feel welcome and included? If not, what would you do to make more of an inclusive and welcoming community?
Derrick Brooks answering that question. Block gatherings. A big day where we have, like we do with when they had the car shows, something to get everybody involved. The community has to know one another. The community has to feel welcome. I think now the community is thriving. I think previously back, maybe not so much. Like laws have changed. I think we're going in a good direction. I just want to see us stay on that path. But to answer that question, more community, getting to know one another. It just takes a group effort. You just have to come out and do more things with the community and make people feel safe and feel welcome. You just have to do more so people can know one another. But I think, that, we're moving in that direction. We're doing a good job. And I just want to see us stay on that path and thrive more.
Mhm. Okay, anyone
I
else?
definitely agree with block gatherings and just more social events that happen in the community. You know, to greet someone who comes in, moves into you, around you, just more social gatherings. And I definitely agree with that.
Would anyone be open to open dialogue about diversity and inclusion and equity so that people understand who their neighbors are and what their thought processes are, with their environment? You know, because I guess I'm a firm believer that you have to know what a person's background, because everybody has a story, in an effort to actually get to know someone. So I think that this is the time when we're supposed to be winding down. John, are you on board? John's not on board. We could keep going all night. I'm just kidding.
This is
Hi,
great.
Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good, good. I believe that the forum is supposed to be an hour, and I know that John was going to wind us down. Are you here to do that, Sarah?
I did say that I really appreciate you doing this. And so I
Mhm.
wanted to come on and personally thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Thank you.
You've
My pleasure. My pleasure. I love working with the town of Upper Marlboro. I just need to come down 2 more miles and I'm in.
We need your address so we can work that next annexation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what phase I'm in, but I just want everybody to know I'm only 2 miles.
Come on over.
All right. So,
And thank you, sorry, also just to the candidates for running. I'm so glad that you all are running, and this has been an awesome discussion to watch. So I'll turn it right back over to you, Jody, to close out.
great. Well, I don't know where John is. There he is right
I
now.
am right here.
All right.
All right, everyone. I just want to thank the audience for joining us this evening. I want to thank Jody Waldy, NAACP Prince George's, for moderating, and thank you, candidates. We are really excited about this election coming up. And just so everyone remembers, the special town election is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. Polls will open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. And the polling location, of course, is Town Hall, 14211 School Lane. We hope to see everyone on Tuesday. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
And good luck to everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck, candidates.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Y'all have a good evening.
Good luck to everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Take care.